necessarily mean you go to the GIC. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means that we need to come up with a plan that's going to offer us the benefits that we need at a cost-effective level that we can afford to handle it. And at the same time, maintain quality education for our children. Because that's what we're here for, is to create quality education for our children. I think our budget situation, I think I need to put it that way, because I don't want to come on to the board as if it's your fault you're there, because that's not true. But our budget situation is really an affront to a whole generation of children. It really is at this time. And there are schools that charge $16,000 a student a year. And they still fundraise, and that boggles my mind. They still do that. And we're nowhere near that. And we have added services, constant services that we have to pay for. The sports programs we have to pay for. And I think something that really concerns me and kind of grates me a little bit is that every parent in this community not only has to pay for their son or daughter participating in an extracurricular activity, but they also have to pay for the VOC students so that they can participate in it. But the students or the families at the VOC don't have to pay anything. And that's kind of like insult to injury. And that, you know, I believe in fairness, and fairness is very important. And if you're going to teach children fairness, you can't smile at your children and say, welcome to school, welcome to the team, welcome, and then say, but you got to pay more. Somebody else is getting a better deal than you. So we really need to look at all these things, but I think the most important thing is that we need to really put that effort in. We have in the quality education of our children. Please look at the custodial services, give it a sincere effort, put an RFP out, just to see what it brings to you. If it brings something good to you, there's some money to be saved, then it's money to be saved.
Jeff, that's actually an interesting point that came up at our last school committee meeting. Michael Kachaki raised it, and I think, Carl, we've looked at it in the past, and I think it's something that we consider looking at again, correct? Isn't that? I mean, it is something that is worth looking at. We discussed it at our last school committee meeting, and I think it's a good suggestion. You know, there are districts that use outsourcing, and I know there have also been districts that tried it and it failed. You know, the buildings weren't as clean as they should have been, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that doesn't mean you don't look at it, because it hasn't been successful in some districts. So I think it's something we will consider.
It could be subjective, you know, if the school didn't manage it right, with the way they contract they negotiated, it could be the school's fault, you know.
Correct.
You know, so something like that. You know, you cut books, all right? You have to start thinking this. This has been started at other schools through grants, I understand that, but everyone else seems to be getting the grants, and we don't seem to be getting anything. But when I think that my daughter has to carry, and if I say 50 pounds, it seems light to me.
It's not exactly.
I swear, it seems light to me, because I carry it, and I have a problem with it. So this is something we really need to consider going forward. Who knows, it could be a significant cost savings. I don't know, this study has to be done.
The book bag is the physical education. Right, it's embedded.
No, I don't need to do it. So, you know, consider that option. Don't worry about whether it's you have to, if you're going to use a few outside people or something like that. The bottom line is being able to afford to pay for the education of our children. That's the bottom line.
I'm going to ask them a question and just quickly address and I know we're not the same kind of community as Wayland, but Wayland has about the same number of students we have. They have an 11-person technology staff in their school district for the same number of students. We basically have one right now. And that person is proposed to be gone.
And I did need to bring that up. Technology is probably the most important thing our children can learn today, because they will be way behind the curve of everybody else. You're not going to learn anything unless you know technology these days. All right, so that, cutting the technology is something we should be adding in that. We're looking at the IT department in town right now, and we're looking to reinforce that. And because that's important, we need to be able to function like with information more effectively. And if the children don't have the basics, they stay at home, they play on the computer a lot, we know that, okay? And they learn faster than we do without us, right? But they still need direction from us on what other things that they can find. So the IT department's a really big concern.
Mike? Is it possible to go to, I think it's slide number 10 in the presentation?
Yeah. Would that be the budget
They're not
drivers?
numbered, so I kind of
Budget
guessed.
drivers, Mike?
It's the budget driver, yes,
Okay.
that's the title. Anyway, my question really is around the personnel number. And maybe you can explain a little bit of that to me, but let me express my concern. When I see that number, I know you didn't hire a bunch of new teachers or administrative staff or custodians and so on. So obviously, kind of feeding off of Sean Delaney's recommendation about the unions they have come to the table. I know that what we presented tonight has a 2% increase in there for the health insurance. So whether they like it or not, they've kind of come to the table a little bit, maybe not enough. But that number, to me, is where we need to come to the table. I mean, we're in a recession, let's face it. No one wants to say it, but we are. You look around this town, I've never seen so many foreclosures in my life. You walk around town, everybody that has companies, that own companies, I know Mel, you're a businessman yourself, you've seen it yourself. Everybody's had to make concessions. And unfortunately for the teachers, they deserve everything they get. They deserve more than that. But we're at that stage now where they really do have to come to the table. Because if you look at the last 3 years, we've been struggling. They have continued to get increases. I know they've given their cost of living here and there, but the step increases are in there. And I know contractually they bargained for it, and they deserve it because they bargained for it. But this is a year where I would like to see them come to the table now and say, $1.1 million, just out of that number, okay? If we could take 26% of that number out, that takes care of your shortfall, and we can keep the custodian here. Because let me tell you, I agree with John. We should not have to be making those kind of cuts when you see that kind of an increase. That to me tells you that the teacher contracts are recession-proof. Because what's going to happen next year? Right. I know you don't have to negotiate. You have another year left in your contract, and I assume there's another step increase in cost of living increase and so on and so forth. And that number will be a plus number next year. I mean, if it's really about the kids and we got to get through this tough time, then that's to me where you better put your time better spent. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
You want to explain some of the personnel increases and why it's reflected in our budget now versus not before?
Sure, thank you. As Mr. Prisco said, the largest component of that personnel increase is, because it's the largest component of our personnel, is teachers. This present year, the teachers are now engaged in a 4-year collective bargaining contract. FY11, the present year, they received a 1% COLA plus any steps that they were due. This budget for FY12 would be the 4th year of the teacher contract, and that is presently negotiated at 1 3/4%. So the 3rd and 4th year were 1 3/4% plus steps as appropriate. As I noted when the slide was up, a portion of that 1.1 million is the loss of ARA funds from year to year.
Mm-hmm.
But the largest segment of that increase is the teacher's contract. There are other contracts. In FY12, the only employee groups that have settled are the teachers and the school principals and the business manager. All of the other groups, ranging from food service to custodians to paraprofessionals to secretaries, et cetera, have yet to settle.
And I don't know what, Carl, what is the, I guess, so the 1.75, what is the teacher's portion of the of the total personnel? Is it around 14 million?
Yes.
So you take the 1.75 applied to 14 million, but as Mike pointed out, you also have to apply the steps. Now, about half of our teachers, maybe fewer now, but about half of our teachers are on the top step. So if we have about 215 or so teachers, say 110 are still collecting those step raises, which range from 3 to 5% a year until they reach the top step. So that's why, as you pointed out, those numbers get thrown out of whack.
And that's why I think Mr. Twain has a really good idea. And they should be willing to come to the table, and this year alone. Because it is, you can see a custodian get laid off, and a technology teacher, or a language teacher. It doesn't make sense when you see this level of increase. We're all in this together. And if it is about the kids, then they should come to the table for the kids. Because I'm not saying we should take it away from next year, but let's get through this year. Because there's some people may think, and I tend to start believing that next year will be a little bit better. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic, but there is a hope. But we got to get through this year. And maybe we should look at next year when we make our decisions here too. Maybe we do need to make deeper cuts. Because maybe we shouldn't just go year to year anymore, like we're doing right now. That's a discussion for another
I
day.
think a good start would be to negotiate annual contracts. In the private sector, you don't negotiate multi-year contracts without knowing what you're bringing in for income. I mean, people don't get raises until you know what you have coming in. I mean, I don't understand this multi-year, 3%, 5%. You go to the table and say, this is what we have for money, it's 0.25, and that's what you get. But I don't know if I have no public sector on it. Huh?
I quit if I have to negotiate this contract every year.
Well, it's really simple, honestly.
I'm going to give some parents, parents, sir?
Yes,
Could you actually state your name and address, please?
my name is Tony McPherson, and I'm, for the most part, a concerned parent of former students of the school system. Both of my boys have graduated and are off in college, and I would like to congratulate the teaching and the principals here at the front for what they've done for my boys. One of the things that I'm very concerned about, I think we all witnessed it about 4 or 5 years ago when there was a significant cut which primarily hit the arts programs. And very specifically in the music programs, I know that some programs, once you kill them, then they have to grow from seedlings again. So they don't have a single year impact if we cut a program for a year and then reinstitute it the very next year. I would like the school committee to recognize that fact that certain cuts have to be looked at their long-term impact, not just what's going to happen over that 1 year. I know in the high school band, it went from about 50 or 60 people down to 27 instrumentalists this last year. And that was all from something that happened 4 years ago.
That's correct.
One of the concerns that I have certainly about the language, the consideration for cutting that language program. I know that for my oldest son, that was what got him interested in foreign language. And he actually has the opportunity, or had the opportunity to use that one time when he was in Puerto Rico and was in a situation where he was trying to get some help from someone that spoke no English. What a benefit that was for him to be at least conversant in the language. Certain things, if you cut them out at the very beginning, they do have long-term impacts. And, I appreciate what you've done in your efforts to find the budget cuts. But certainly, if it comes year to year, how are we going to manage the lack of funds. Well, one thing that we might want to start